Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Thursday, May 2nd. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Thanks for joining us. Our top story: government's revenue is up, and according to Central Bank Governor Cleviston Haynes, that's because recently introduced tax measures are paying off. In an upbeat report on the performance of the Barbados economy for the first quarter, Governor Haynes said the country had recorded almost $3 billion in revenue. He's also buoyed by the rise in the international reserves by $64 million to reach $1.1 billion at March 31. Governor Haynes says there's no mistaking that the recovery is on the way, though he cautioned Barbadians to stay the course and remain patient.
The road remains challenging, but if we work together, we will be able to overcome the economic difficulties that we face. It's not something that you can do overnight, so we ask persons to be patient. I think the progress that we have made so far is very encouraging. We've taken some difficult decisions. We've taken them in a very short period of time. We've made some progress, but we have to continue to work to achieve the objectives.
Governor Haynes said that the new fuel tax, the garbage and sewage contribution levy, and the hotel room levy were efficient sources of revenue, and he's confident that on its current track, Barbados will meet its targets under the BERT program that will enable the country to draw down on the second round of US $49 million in funding by early July. He is also confident that government can achieve its target of 6% surplus of GDP.
Certainly in terms of the outcome for 2018-2019, we were able to achieve the fiscal targets, which were roughly about 3.3% of GDP. And what you have to recognize is that the measures that were implemented in 2018 did not have a full year effect in 2018-2019. Now you're going to have a full year effect beginning this year, and therefore that is going to add to the performance of the overall fiscal. On top of that, some additional measures have been introduced, which are designed to supplement, both on the revenue side as well as on the expenditure side, to supplement those things which were done in 2018. So from that perspective, we are fairly confident that it is achievable, but one has to continue to monitor very closely, and depending on outcomes will determine if any additional adjustments are required. But at this point in time, we believe that the 6% is indeed achievable.
The man convicted of causing the deaths of 6 young women in the Campus Trendz fire almost 9 years ago has lost his final appeal against his life sentences. Today, the Caribbean Court of Justice dismissed Reynaldo Anderson Alleyne's appeal, and it also recommended that he serve at least 25 years under the 6 concurrent life sentences he received in 2012. It's the first time a recommendation is being made on the minimum length of time a prisoner serving a life sentence in Barbados should remain incarcerated before being eligible for release. However, Justice Winston Anderson, who delivered the main judgment in Port of Spain today, said the fact that Alleyne pleaded guilty to a similar crime of firebombing the Chicken Galore building less than a month before was bound to receive an appropriate sentence.
Justice Barrow commented that the time had come when legislation was needed to provide for the courts to stipulate minimum or qualifying periods before early release. Having regard to these judgments, the court decided that it would 1. Dismiss the appeal, 2. Uphold the 6 concurrent life sentences imposed upon the appellant, 3. Recommend that the appellant should not be eligible for release before serving a minimum period of 25 years incarceration, and 4. Order that this minimum period of incarceration includes the time spent by the appellant on remand.
In response to today's judgment, attorney at law David Komoshong, the founder of the September 3rd Foundation, said even though justice has been served, he continues to feel a sense of depression as a result of the September 2010 tragedy. Komoshong lamented that almost 10 years later, there's still little respect for life. In other news this Thursday, Barbadians have been assured that the United States cruise liner, which was quarantined in St. Lucia after a case of measles was identified on board, is not scheduled to dock here. However, the Ministry of Health and Wellness continues to recommend to people not immunized against the disease to visit the polyclinic in their catchment area or their private doctor to receive the measles, mumps, or rubella or MMR vaccine. While there is no measles outbreak in Barbados, there have been reports of outbreaks in North America, the United Kingdom, Europe, and the Americas. The MMR vaccine is generally given from 12 months of age in Barbados. However, Senior Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Karen Broom, has cautioned that if persons are planning to travel to an area where there is an outbreak, children 6 to 11 months should receive 1 dose of the vaccine. Additionally, adolescents and adults must ensure that they have had their MMR vaccine. Once a person has received 2 doses of the vaccine, they are fully immunized against measles. Persons who have already been infected with measles have lifelong immunity. The ruling Barbados Labour Party came in for some stiff chiding from the Joseph Atherley-led opposition. Opposition spokesman on transport, Sylvan Greenwich, today took issue with the BLP's move to charter 15 buses for its annual Heroes Day picnic, charging that the party placed its agenda ahead of the country.
The decision by government to charter 15 buses from the already skeleton fleet was an extremely poor and callous management decision. And for the government, who only weeks ago journeyed to the various bus terminals to hear the cries of the frustrated commuters about the ridiculous long waiting for buses, and to allow the Transport Board to send 15 of those buses to support the fun and frolic at the East Coast Road, leaving workers stranded in the bus terminal, is an act steep in paramountcy, party paramountcy. It is the euphoria which states that the party, not the government, is in charge of the arms of the state. Simply put, the Barbados Labour Party now has set itself above the interests of the country.
In sports now, the West Indies have been handed a pleasant rankings boost ahead of the World Cup after overhauling Sri Lanka to climb to 8th in the ICC One Day International charts today. The Caribbean side gained 4 ratings points to move to 80, while Sri Lanka remained stagnant on 76, following the annual update which saw the removal of the 2015-2016 results and those between 2016 and 2018 computed at 50%. For the Windies, the rise comes on the back of the outstanding performance in the recent 5-match series against world number 1 England when they snatched a 2-all tie.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional happenings now, Venezuela's leadership made a show of unity when top military chiefs today and a court issued an arrest warrant for an opposition figure as the ruling socialists push back against U.S.-backed attempts to oust President Nicolas Maduro.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and key military figures on Thursday made a public show of unity after days of unrest. Maduro praised the army for its loyalty to the socialist government.
They were not afraid to say no to the traitors, no to the participants of an attempted coup. No one can be scared.
The televised display is meant to reject claims by the United States and the opposition that the armed forces high command was prepared to turn on the president. Venezuela's capital, Caracas, was racked with chaos this week as anti-government protesters clashed with police. The violence sparked after opposition leader Juan Guaido claimed to have the military on his side and called on them to help overthrow Maduro. The United States supported the opposition protests and this week claimed Venezuela's defense minister and others had secretly agreed to remove the socialist president.
And on the international scene in the U.S., Democrats intensified their pressure on President Donald Trump's administration today as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, accused Attorney General William Barr of committing a crime by lying to lawmakers. We get more in this Reuters television report.
He lied to Congress. He lied to Congress. If anybody else did that, it would be considered a crime.
Going on the attack in an escalating Washington battle, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi on Thursday accused Attorney General William Barr of perjuring himself in his testimony to Congress on Robert Mueller's Russia report. The accusation comes a day after a letter from Mueller questioning Barr's handling of the report set off fireworks at a Senate hearing in Washington.
Which event are you talking about? Please, Mr. Attorney General, give us some credit for knowing what the hell is going on around here with you.
Not really.
Pelosi and other Democrats say Mueller's letter showed Barr had been untruthful when he said at an earlier hearing that he didn't know how Mueller felt about Barr's 4-page summary of the report and Barr's decision not to charge President Donald Trump with obstruction of justice. The letter revealed Mueller had complained to Barr that the summary, quote, did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of his more than 400-page report on Russia's role in the 2016 election.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.populisttoday.pb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.